Recording going. All right. Thank you for everyone who is able to join tonight. I'll let those people in as they join. But want to get started out of respect for everyone's time. Just want to set a bit of the game plan, I guess, for tonight. We are going to run through a brief presentation. This shouldn't take any more than 20, 30 minutes, really just about process tonight and how we've found ourselves at the place that we are in the revision that's been proposed or shown to the membership. We're going to run another call next Wednesday where we will take questions. So if you'll be kind enough tonight to just listen to me and a few members of the committee about what took place to get us here, we will be able to address all of your questions next week. But I think that the background, the context is really important as we begin. So 2024 FYSA bylaw revision, which all of you have received, is currently posted on the website. This is the exact verbiage of the motion that was passed at the 2023 AGM, and I think that we have revisited this several times. You saw it in the documentation that went out. It's posted on the website. The membership authorizes a revision of the FYSA bylaws and rules to be prepared by a contracted parliamentarian at a cost not to exceed $15,000, and the revision will be presented to the membership at the 2024 AGM. A bit of a timeline regarding committee action. Really started 2 days prior to the AGM last year, where the board of directors made a motion to ask the membership for a revision that was subsequently authorized by the membership 2 days later at the AGM. August 22nd of 23, apologies for the typo there, we selected our professional parliamentarian. She's joining us tonight. I'll get to a slide on her momentarily. September 13th was a board meeting where we ratified the Rules and Revisions Committee. There was some talk, and I want to make a clarifying point here. All of the work that has been done up until this point has been done by the standing committee of FYSA, the Rules and Revisions Committee. In the past, we created ad hoc committees, special committees to look at revisions, but as we looked at the description for the Rules and Revisions Committee, as it stands in the current rules and committee section, it was obvious that this committee, the standing committee, the Rules and Revisions, would be responsible for it. So on September 13th, we ratified the Rules and Revisions Committee. The 25th was our first meeting with the committee and Connie, our professional parliamentarian. We finished, I guess, 2023 with an every other Monday meeting. We set it for 2 hours. Some of them went the full 2 hours. Some of them didn't. Some of them went longer. But then as we got early into 2024, we realized that we needed to make quicker progress and switched this to an every Monday committee. And then our meetings got to that full 2 hour mark and many times exceeded it. So the work really ramped up as we got into 2024. And then, of course, April 29th was, we completed the work of the committee, which is probably an inaccurate statement. The work of this committee, as we see it going forward, isn't complete. We've got a lot of rules that we want to touch on as well. We're continuously still making some small adjustments, grammatical things to the proposed bylaw revision as well that you see out there. So I can tell you today that the revision out there is a slightly different, just grammatical things, not an intent or purpose different from the one that was initially posted last week. Of course, we did find our professional parliamentarian, came from a recommendation off of our annual general meeting, our ongoing parliamentarian. It's Connie DeFord. She's with us today. She's been a registered parliamentarian for 25 plus years. She's a member of the National Association of parliamentarian. She's held positions locally at the state level and at the national level, including serving as the National Association of Parliamentarian President from 2007 to 2009. I would just like to, in this recording, thank her on behalf of the committee, on behalf of FYSA, for just a tremendous amount of work in working with this committee. Connie, is there anything that you'd like to say at this point? I have a feeling I know the answer, but I do want to ask you if you've got anything.
I do not. It was a pleasure to work with this committee. There was great discussion. Every single section was reviewed, and there was great participation by all members. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, it was truly a pleasure. Connie was, of course, along for the ride on every meeting that we had, every bit of consultation she was involved in, even prior to this, the meeting we had leading up to today. So thank you for your support. Wanted to reiterate what Connie's role was in this, because I think it's important to know that this wasn't something that was necessarily driven by Connie, which may have done in revisions in the past. She reviewed and suggested revisions to the bylaws, proposed appropriate amendments to the rules. She, again, was on every one of the meetings with the Rules and Revisions Committee. She prepared a comparison chart, basically our work every week that we put out there, took notes on, gave that to us a week to 5 days prior to the meeting for all of us to take a look at. She was to participate in presentations, which we're doing here tonight. She prepared the revision for input and explanation. She prepared the final proposed one for consideration at the AGM. All of this really came out of the contract that we have in place with Connie, but the committee decided to add this last point on here, which was just simply organization. Even if you're just looking at the bylaws of this association, it took a tremendous amount of organization to keep us on task and to keep the committee out of a lot of the weeds, to allow us to come on every Monday in 2024 and be able to discuss substance. I think that was truly the biggest role. So we wanted to add that point. Again, these other ones really came from the contract that we have with Connie. Get into the purpose of the group. What did we come back to every week as we were talking? But we wanted to align the FYSA bylaws, of course, with U.S. youth soccer, U.S. soccer, and Florida law. That should always be at the forefront of our decision making. We can't be in conflict with those other entities. But we also wanted to address and resolve conflicts. As we went through this, we found many conflicts between the rules and the bylaws, and getting those in alignment, not necessarily just within the rules, but even within the bylaws. It was consistency in resolving conflicts, removing duplication. There were a few places within the document that we found that we've already stated that in the purpose or in the naming convention, all of those things. So we didn't really remove things that were of any substance. I think you'll see that as you get into it, but we really wanted to organize the governing document to only have organizational structure. We truly felt that the bylaws are the organizational structure of the association, and then the rules further down move into formats of play and the more granular items that were out there. So we really just wanted the organizational pillars, fundamentals to be in the bylaws. And that's why you'll see in a couple of slides, we've actually moved things into the bylaws that were formerly in the rules. And then, of course, clarify any possible confusion. There were certainly a few sections that we felt, hey, this could just be worded better. We understand the intent. We talked about intent all the time, and if we put it this way, it doesn't change the intent, but makes the intent a bit more clear. So those were our goals and purpose. As I mentioned, we met frequently. We truly went back and counted all the meetings. There were 20 meetings, and there was homework provided in advance. Connie gave us the things to look at, to review. We did so that we could come to the meeting with actual substance and have conversation about change that needed to happen. We went section by section of the current bylaws. We started with the current bylaws and we went section by section, reviewing them, and significant, extensive discussion on every section. I use the word methodical quite a bit in this, and that's what the process felt like. Sometimes we would talk about a couple of sentences for 20, 30 minutes, and it was all valid conversation. We use the existing bylaws as the starting point. And I'll call out Jennifer DiTilio very specifically on this. We always tried to have an eye on the rules. As we went through this, we found that, hey, this is in the rules, it should be in the bylaws, or vice versa. Or, hey, this is mentioned in the rules. There's a conflict with the bylaws. We've got to get it straightened out. A lot of times, those extensive conversations turned into the parking lot, which is a term that was a little new for me in this process. But I credit Connie for being able to tell when we have exhausted a topic, and she would often come through and say, hey, this was just, why don't we put this in the parking lot and come back to it? So it was a really positive process, and I think that kept us on track. And there were motions for every change. I was really impressed with Alice, how she ran this meeting and how Connie kept us on point. We had motions for every change. And I think we've got some pretty good records. I'm not sure that there were any motions that were even close to not passing. They were almost all unanimous. So I think it was really well done. Parliament with a parliamentarian being there, but also with Robert's Rules of Order, I think we kept everything on point. As I'm going through this here, I'm calling out people's names, but I believe I forgot a slide. It's so important that I'm going to go back to it here. I don't know how I skipped this one. I may have double clicked. But guys, these are the people who did all the work. As we're talking about this, this is the Rules and Revisions Committee for 2024. Alice Smith, FYSA Registrar, is the committee chair. Justin Lauer out of Region B is a member of the committee. Jennifer DiTilio, Region C. John Stacy, past president and out of Region D. Mike Hyatt, current member of the FYSA board, VP of Admin and Communication. Marino Torrens, with an N, is Region A vice president, and Lee Bleman out of Region D as well. We're a part of this great group of people here. I'm impressed with the dedication all of them had. Again, guys, 20 meetings, many of them Mondays. This was a heck of a lot of work. Of course, I was on it, and Jackie as well assisted on a lot of these meetings as well. Filled in for me on one or two of them. So not sure how I missed that one, but I thought it was important to go back to. I believe we're done on this page. Documentation. I'm just going to unshare really quickly rather than clicking that link, but this gets into some of the meat and potatoes of the changes that we've made. So let me pull up the page on the FYSA website. There it is. So navigating from the front page of the website, we have created under About a specific page just for this revision. It's under Bylaw Revision 2024. You can click here. We've done a bit of work on this page even since the first time we put it out. We reorganized some of these to make it flow a little bit easier for you guys to look at. And we've added a few things at the bottom. Here's your links to register, but this will remain on the website till post AGM. But We have up here, of course, the most important document, as it's labeled out here, the proposed bylaw revision. This is the document, guys. If approved at the AGM, these would be the new bylaws for FYSA. This is going to be it. The intention of this committee is to actually make this now a standalone document. I think we've heard from enough people from within the membership that combining this document with the rules, just organizationally speaking, it is a little tough. So it just formatting wise, you'll see two different. It doesn't change anything that other than we're going to balance two separate documents. But this is the document. Please, before you do anything, give this a read. We feel as a committee, we talked about this prior to that, if you read this in a vacuum, after you get through the entire document, you're going to be really impressed with the outcome. We kept intent on the forefront of our decision making throughout this. We don't feel that we have taken out, frankly, anything that changes significantly the intent. Now, of course, you can chop up what intent looks like or means, but we feel very strongly that you are all going to be very, very impressed with what we have put out there in this document. So that's the first one. Please take a look at that. We've got the proposed bylaw chart here. This is a comparison essentially of the new articles and titles as it's lined up against the current section. I don't want to call them old bylaws, but this is just a reference point for you guys to look at to find where these things may have happened. This is a comparison on the left side of the new document that I just showed with the current FYSA bylaw chart. The next one down is the affected rules. I'll get into how we're going to take this on going in some later slides, but these are the current affected rules on the left side, the rules and regulations, and where they're signified in the new document, the very first link that was out there previously. So on the left, you're looking at current FYSA rules. On the right, where they're signified in the new proposed revision. And then last but not least, it's sort of a converse of the second one. This is the current FYSA bylaws on the left and the proposed new article section on the right, just to take a look at it. What we're recommending as a committee is to hopefully have a few tabs open or print them out if you'd like, of the new bylaws, proposed bylaw revision, the existing rules right here, and let me get down to these, and the one of the bylaw charts. Hopefully pretty easy for you guys to flip between three tabs or print it out. So that's the suggested way. That this is the work that we've done. This is 20 meetings worth of work, frankly. So I will jump back to the PowerPoint here. Moving on, did want to call out some specifics and what this would look like. We really did want to highlight a few things that you guys may notice right off the bat. Articles versus numbering, really just stylistic, but it's one of the things that you'll notice. No longer do we have 1.2, 3.4, etc. They're now organized in articles. I think it just falls into traditional way that bylaws are formatted. One of the big things that you'll notice really is the length of this new document. It's 25 pages long, as we currently have it. And one of the most significant changes is moving of the committees out of the end of the rules in the C section up to the bylaws. Again, that goes back to some of our initial goals of having the organizational structure of the association in the bylaws. And in consulting with Connie and talking with the committee, we felt that the committees all belonged in the bylaws. So that is a significant chunk of information that has been moved into the bylaws. So you'll see those in some of the latter articles of the revision. The term full affiliate has been removed. And that I'll touch on changes to the rules later, but full affiliates been removed just as a point of the old bylaws didn't really call for that. We just had affiliate. It was down into the rules, and the board no longer accepts affiliates as full or recreational. So this was matching up with some current ways that we're handling things. So consistency. The next one's a bit of a complex idea, but consistency in committee chairs for associated positions. Mike, I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to call you out and use you as the most obvious example here. Several committee chairs under the existing bylaws gave positions automatic committee chairs. The secretary of FYSA is the chair of the personnel committee. However, other positions, they have the ability to recommend that chair. We went with consistency. So we have moved any place where it said that you have the ability to recommend a chair, that person is now the chair. Going forward, under the new revision, Mike, as the vice president of admin and communication, would be the chair. It just made sense as we talked it out in the committee. Again, we wanted consistency. Certain positions on the board had the ability to recommend, but other ones were automatically the chair. We said why, and we just said, hey, anyone who is associated with the committee, that will be the chair. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm having a hard time even explaining it, but you can see it in the changes. Vacancy in office has been moved to the bylaws. Again, organizational structure. Central Florida has been moved to the will be the location for the AGM. We had this former restriction in the rules that it had to be within 60 miles of the office. It really limits FYSA in where we can take it. It actually rules out some places where we could take it. And we felt that the intent, going back to that rule, was that the AGM be centrally located. So we're not putting any particular group of affiliates at a disadvantage from coming to it. So we felt Central Florida could be enough, particularly with the board of directors having to sign off on any contract of the AGM. They would allow it to be in Central Florida. So that was one change. We removed the 60-mile restriction and just went with Central Florida. Consolidation of finance committees. We had an audit, budget, and finance. One of those had been removed previously, but we have consolidated it down just into a finance committee. Just matches the reality of how we're able to operate with the number of committees that we have. So one of those had already been eliminated, but now we've got one finance committee. That was a change of note. And then addition of the risk management committees. There's two of them to the bylaws as a standing committee. Probably should have been done long ago. Both the RMC risk management committee, still, of course, chaired or populated by the president and vice president of admin and communication. It's just now in the bylaws and noticed as a standing committee. It probably should have been done long ago, but you'll notice that. And then, of course, the risk management appeals committee as well is now in the bylaws as a standing committee, again, likely as it always should have been to handle those important risk management committees. Wanted to call out some things that were unchanged in this revision: board composition, number of board members, overarching duties, voting procedures, when you can proxy votes, proxy votes, giving votes, voting methods, all of that unchanged. The regions of FYSA remain unchanged, A, B, C, and D. Authority of the board, authority of the association to discipline, none of that changed. Term limits, still unchanged, all in there under the revision. So thought it would be important to call out those things as well. 2024 AGM. Sorry, this one's a little bit wordy, and you're going to have to bear with me. I think this is likely the very first time that we're handling a revision the right way. And again, I thank Connie for making sure that we're doing it the right way. Because a revision of the board was authorized, the current bylaws are not up for amendment. There should probably be an asterisk next to that because, of course, the revision we can make amendments to, but we were not able to collect amendments to the bylaws in the normal way that we did because this revision was authorized. However, that said, changes can still be made to the proposed bylaw revision. Unlike some time before I was here, we are not putting this document in front of you and saying it's this or nothing. Let me reiterate. This is not an all or nothing proposal. You can make changes to what you have seen from the floor at the AGM. That's why I talk about the caveat to the top one, because while we weren't able to collect amendments for the existing bylaws, you can still make changes to the revision. This committee has decided that we're going to put forth a consent agenda proposal in hopes that we can push this through in very short order and short amount of time and push it through on a proposal. Knowing that there may be some people out there, the membership can offer individual motions for amendments for each proposed article. Proposed amendments to the revision will be considered as each article is discussed. Any article removed from the consent agenda will be considered article by article. Let me try to translate a little bit more. We're going to try for the consent agenda based on Robert's rules. All someone has to do is raise their hand and say Article 6, and then that will be pulled out and considered separately. We will then go through all the articles that we need or that the membership has requested to be pulled out, and we will go article by article, asking for any amendments. Amendments to the proposed articles of the revision can come from the floor and will be adopted with a majority membership vote. So to get an amendment to one of our revisions, think of it as an amendment to amendment, we only need a majority vote. After each article is considered, an opportunity for additional amendments will be offered. And then after we go through each article by article, we will have essentially one finished product. The total revision as amended by previous ones or previous amendments will require a 2/3 membership vote for adoption. Our hope, obviously, is that we don't get there, right? We will hopefully, you guys will look at this, see that we've made some great enhancements and not change the intent, and we can breeze right through this section with a 2/3 vote. But it's also your right to pull individual things out, add amendments. We just want to make sure that we all know that what you see posted on the FYSA website doesn't necessarily have to be the final version that we come forth. But I would add a caveat to that. Know the people that are on this committee. I put them out there earlier, and all the work that has gone into this. It's been a tremendous amount of work. So hopefully we can push this through in relatively short order. Post 2024 AGM. Yes, there are going to be a lot of changes that need to be made to specifically the rules that will need to be made after this. Lots of this touches on it. We've provided a rules chart back on the website of rules that will be impacted. We feel we are working in the background on some very specific changes that would have to be made to the rules post adoption. However, go back to this previous slide. we're not going to do hours and hours and hours worth of work to have it chopped up on the floor and have the rules then need to be changed. So while we're doing a lot of work in the background, what we've provided you is the rules that will be impacted. The committee is going to recommend changes to the FYSA board based on the passage of the revision, whatever that revision finally looks like, to ensure compliance. We talked about this on a meeting last night. We are not going to make any changes that aren't necessary based on the bylaw revision that passes. This isn't this committee looking to sneak anything through in the rules. There will just need to be changes because once the bylaw revision passes, there's just going to be a lot in those subsequent 80 pages, however many pages that needs to be updated. We will make sure that the changes are strictly housekeeping in nature. Last night's meeting, we must have mentioned the word housekeeping 25 times to assure you guys in the membership that we are not going to cut any deeper other than ensuring compliance with the new revision. We can't make changes to the rules just yet until we know what the changes to the bylaw revision is going to be. And then subsequently, we will circulate those. Amended rules will be distributed to the membership with 15 days of adoption. We will send the rule revisions to the board. They'll look at it as they would any other change, hopefully give the thumbs up, and then turn around and we'll send it to the membership within 15 days of adoption. Again, only to ensure compliance with the rules and bylaws. I want to make sure everyone's clear on that. So that's the plan for post AGM with rules that need to be adopted, but know in the background that we are working on knowing exactly where they are. And again, they're posted on the website with the rules right now that are going to be adopted or that are going to be impacted. Second to last slide is the next meeting. Next Wednesday, 7 days from today, we will be a little bit more free flowing and we will be taking questions in advance. We really want to make sure that we as a committee are all on point. We will take submitted questions up until 5 p.m. next Tuesday. You can find the submission form on the website, and we will address every question. I suspect next Wednesday will be a little bit longer. We're going to try to record that one as well. Just try to keep this as orderly as possible and make sure that the committee is really on the same page. We want to express all the hard work that's been done. And that's why we ask for the questions in advance so that we know we have an answer. We totally understand that all of you guys have likely some very valid questions and we want to have those answers for you. So that's why we're asking for them in advance. You go to that same page that I just showed you guys, which is under About Us, About Bylaws and Rules Revisions, and then it's down here at the bottom. Don't forget to register for next week. We just want to know who's going to be on. Send you guys some information, and we will get out another reminder in time for next week, and Q&A form is there. So the last slide is simply thanking you guys for the time and being here. I've told Connie from the very beginning that we have a membership that is very passionate about what we do, and it leads to our governing document, and we are very, very excited to present this to you. All the hard work that's been done, we are proud to share it with you. So thank you guys all for the time. Alice, what did I forget? Connie, anything that I left out of that? Are we good?
I think we're good. Thank you, Joel, for all the for the presentation. I want to thank everyone for giving up their time tonight. I guess like you all, we have homework to do to go out and read. If you have any questions, please send it in to us so we can address it next week. Yes, next week will be free flowing. Tonight, we want to give you the overview and just give you an outline of everything that has been done up to this point. Remember, this is your rules and bylaws, not the committee. We're not here, and the committee worked as a team. I might have been the chair, but one of the things is we worked as a group. Basically, I just kept them in order and kept us on timeline and made the motions, and we had the discussion. But this bylaws is for your organization, not just a small group of people. So we want you to make sure that you contribute, make your statements, whatever you have to offer, whatever questions you have that need to be answered, please send it in to us so we can make this move and get this one of the first steps in getting FYSA on the right track and consolidating all our bylaws and rules into one place and not scattered throughout. Thank you again for your time and tonight, and thank the committee once again. I guess, Joe, we can start counting up a meeting last night and a meeting tonight, so we may be up to 22 meetings together we have had so far. So thank you all once again for your time and effort. If any other committee members have anything to say, you can do so at this time. We welcome everyone. We thank some of the members on the outside who have contributed already to some of the things that we miss, and we appreciate your help on that as well.
Now, I would just like to piggyback what everybody else has said as far as thanking Connie. You know, one of the things when I first started this campaign to get our bylaws and rules redone was, you know, we're soccer people. You know, we know soccer, but you know, where do we dot the I's and cross the T's and all like that? And it takes a parliamentarian like Maurice at first, and then Connie, God love her, you know, she spent times with us where I know that we added to some of the gray hair just in the amount of time that we would spend on wording of one sentence. But I really thank you, Connie, from the bottom of my heart. I really, really do. And oh, by the way, I'm done.
Any other committee members, parting words before I cut the recording here?
Just again, the same thing, just to thank you, Connie, thank you, Alice, for considering me to be part of this. And just one of the ones I think I started all these meetings. We talked a lot, we disagree, we agreed, but at the end of the day, we were all together at the end. Okay, we all, the adults here, we can agree to disagree, but nothing personal. And I think we have great document there. And the only thing I will ask everybody is to read it. Please read it. This is not the old versus the new. This is, like somebody said, I forgot who it was. They said, if you start an FYSA today, read this document and see if you agree this is the way we should go. Again, we might have changes, like Joe said, somebody might come out the floor and pick any article and make a small change. That's fine. We're not perfect, but I think we, as a group, we work very hard, and we put a lot of hours in this, and like everybody else. Connie sent us the homework on the Friday, the Thursday before. We had to sit there over the weekend doing homework. And then when we got on Monday, it's like, no, I think we should do this. I think we should do that, back and forth. And sometimes like that, the parking lot. I mean, sometimes a sentence took us an hour discussing it. Just a small part of a sentence. And we have to like push it back and come back the next week and talk about it. But please be open. Any questions to any of us, that's the group, put it in that chat so we can talk about it next week. Thank you again for being here.
All right. I'm going to put, oh, go ahead, John.
Can you hear me?
Got John.
Sorry about that. So for those, obviously 5 years ago, we had, you know, we went down this path, and I want to make mention that, you know, back 5 years ago, we had some aggressive changes that we offered up. That is not the case here. There were many points in time where we said, well, you know, what if we look at changing the structure of the board? What if we do this? What if we do that? And it was clear from our past experience that the sentiment of the membership is they didn't want to see drastic changes. And so we were very focused on, you know, maintaining intent, maintaining structure. keeping it, creating a document that is more cohesive. And I was, very much glad to be part of this conversation. I think every member of this committee absolutely contributed their own thoughts, and I appreciate Connie and for leading us through this process, and Alice for keeping us in line. So thanks, guys.
I ask a question?
No,
Yes.
I put it in the chat.
No, I'm just wondering, after all this work, is anybody concerned that there are more committee members on this Zoom call than actual club members? I mean,
And Lee, I think I really would encourage you to. I'm happy to address it next week, but we've got a pretty good format. Call me after. I can speak to it, but we are recording this, so put it in there. Do any of the other committee members want to speak, or should I cut the recording? Jen, Lee, I saw you jump in there as well.
I don't have anything to add. I think we've said everything that I would say. I do believe that recording this is the best option. Not everybody can jump on the call, Lee. So it's best that we do record it and it is available to the membership. And that's something that was important to this committee to make sure that it got out there. So the intent is that everyone gets the time to read it. It's to you way early, and then you can submit your questions to us for next week, and we'll be able to answer all those questions for you with, having done our homework to help you understand what we did. So hopefully you can look at it from a very neutral standpoint and see what we see and what we did.
Yeah, I agree, Joel. I agree that having it recorded will make it easier for people to consume it at their own time. So that will make it, they can go through it, review it, rewind it, and watch it at their discretion. So I'm good. Don't need to add anything.
Joe, I do have a question. I'm sorry. This recording would it be sent out or just posted? That's what
I can do either.
I don't know.
Well, let me let me sign off for everybody. Thank you guys for joining. I will look for the next Zoom link next week, and thanks.